Gonorrhea and syphilis testing in the I-693 process. If you're applying for your green card here in St. Louis, Missouri, one of the most important steps in your I-693 immigration medical exam is testing for sexually transmitted infections, specifically gonorrhea and syphilis. Let's walk through what these tests mean for your immigration process, why they're required, and what happens if your results aren't as straightforward as you expect. First, syphilis. Syphilis is a sexually transmitted infection caused by a bacterium called Treponema pallidum. Left untreated, it can cause serious health issues, but it is treatable, usually with penicillin injections. For the immigration medical exam, all applicants between the ages of 18 and 44 must be tested for syphilis. The test we use is a blood test, most commonly the RPR, or Rapid Plasma Reagent Test. Here's where many applicants get confused. The RPR doesn't just say yes or no, it gives a ratio, like 1 to 2, 1 to 8, 1 to 32. That number tells us how much antibody activity your immune system is showing against what looks like syphilis. The higher the ratio, the more likely it represents a true infection. For example, a very low ratio, like 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, might actually be a false positive. Higher ratios, like 1 to 32 or 1 to 64, usually indicate an active syphilis infection that requires treatment. But here's something most people don't know. A positive RPR doesn't always mean you have syphilis. Sometimes the RPR is positive because of something else going on in your immune system, like autoimmune diseases, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, or even certain viral infections. These are called biological false positives. That's why if your RPR comes back positive, we don't stop there. We always run a confirmatory treponemal test, like an FTA, ABS, or TPA. That second test looks specifically for antibodies to the actual syphilis bacteria. If both the RPR ratio and the confirmatory test are positive, then you do need treatment. But if your RPR is low and the confirmatory test is negative, then it's likely a false positive, and you may not need syphilis treatment at all. Instead, your result will simply be documented on the I-693 along with an explanation, and your green card process can continue. So remember, a positive blood test is not the end of the story. It's about interpreting the ratio, confirming the result, and separating true infections from false alarms caused by other conditions. Now let's talk about gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is another common sexually transmitted infection caused by the bacterium Neisseria gonorrhoeae. For the I-693, all applicants age 15 and older must be tested for gonorrhea. The test is usually a urine sample or a swab test. If it's negative, you're clear. If it's positive, you'll need antibiotic treatment before your civil surgeon can finalize your paperwork. Again, treatment clears the infection and allows your I-693 to move forward. Now here's an important point for applicants in St. Louis. USCIS requires that these tests, gonorrhea and syphilis, be performed as part of your official I-693 exam by the civil surgeon or an approved laboratory partner. Even if you had negative tests last month from another clinic, USCIS won't accept them. The testing must be tied to your immigration medical paperwork. It may feel redundant, but this is how USCIS ensures consistency nationwide. Bottom line, all applicants 15 and older get tested for gonorrhea. All applicants 18 through 44 get tested for syphilis. RPR ratios matter. A low positive might not be real syphilis, but an autoimmune issue instead. Confirmatory testing is always done before labeling someone as having syphilis. Treatment, when needed, is straightforward, and after treatment, your I-693 can still be approved. All testing must be performed under the supervision of your civil surgeon here in St. Louis. Here at Immigration Exam US, we've guided thousands of immigrants in the St. Louis region through this process. We understand not only the medicine, but also the paperwork and documentation USCIS requires. Our job is to protect your health and your immigration process, because the I-693 isn't just about the science. It's about making sure your green card doesn't get delayed over technicalities. If you're applying for your green card in St. Louis, let us handle your I-693 exam the right way. Testing, interpretation, and documentation included. Go to www.immigrationexam.us to schedule your appointment. You can also use our secure online form. We'll make sure every test, gonorrhea, syphilis, or otherwise, is done correctly, interpreted properly, and filed in a way that keeps your immigration journey moving forward.